Potato is tomato.
Hello, listeners. Today is January 6th, 2022.
Before we get into our discussion, we wanted to clear up some misinformation from one of our earlier podcasts. We said that the vaccine is just dead COVID, and as we read more into it, we found that isn't true. Brycey boy, can you tell us what it really is?
Yes. Vaccines contain material from the virus that causes COVID-19 that gives our cells instructions for how to make a harmless protein that is unique to the virus. After our cells make copies of the protein, they destroy the genetic material from the vaccine.
Now, onto our topic. How are video games affecting kids today?
This info may not all be true, so we are sorry if some is fake. We did our best to find true news.
Now, to start off, we're going to start with mental health from playing a lot of video games.
Video games may help ease anxiety and depression, but too much video games may increase depression and anxiety.
Now, I 100% agree with that. I think it's a good release to when it takes off a lot of pressure because you get to just sit down and play some games with your friends. But depending on the game, like some games like Fortnite, like Rocket League, where sometimes it gets a bit competitive and it can also like do the opposite for your health, and it can like backfire on that and cause more depression and more anxiety.
Yeah, I actually know someone that's quite close to me, and they like to play a shooter video game, third-person shooter, and sometimes they'd cry and scream, and obviously that's not a good release for anxiety. I think that's the opposite way.
Yeah, like when I remember a long time ago when I was playing video games, I would rage a lot on it, and it wasn't good for me, and I was getting really mad at these types of games, and it was ruining relationships with friends that I had. And my new point of view on video games is it's just a game and it doesn't matter. Like, I can go do something else if I really need to. It's not the end of the world if I die or if I lose the game. Like, because certain games, like video games, they can make people more violent and more aggressive to people, that ruins relationships a lot.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, and it really depends on what video game you're playing. Like, there are some very educational games out there, and then there's other ones that it's a shoot everybody up game.
Yeah, like for instance, there's Prodigy, that's a game, it's very educational, and then there's Fortnite. Now, I wouldn't say it's a big violent game because there's no like blood and gore compared to some other games, but it has that competitive aspect that can really make a lot of anxiety from you just really wanting to win.
Yeah, I think, like you said, there are some quite educational games on there, like Minecraft, where it encourages teamwork and it helps you think about what you want to do. And then there's some games like Fortnite, where the main purpose of the game is to shoot everybody else until you win.
Yeah, like there's pros and there's cons to playing a lot of video games. Like some pros are like your brain, it goes faster and it's more on point in decision making. It's very good for teamwork and socializing, and it can really help you in your later life when you're going and doing business or something. It's very helpful for teamwork. But too much, there's a certain point where video games are just too much. And I read somewhere, this could be fake, I don't know, but I saw that 1 to 9 hours a week is the amount you want to stay in, but in anything more, it's just too much for you and it can really damage you.
Yeah, I know my mom, she isn't really a huge fan of video games. And neither is my dad. Well, my dad can play video games, but he won't play them for hours on end. The most I think he's ever played in a row is maybe 2 hours. But he likes video games. My mom's the other way, so we have a very we don't really we stay under the 9 hour time limit almost every week.
Yeah, and by 9 hours, it's like 1 hour on weekdays and 2 hours on the weekend. And like it's good to stay in that range because there some cons on it is like you get addicted to it and it can damage your eyes because and like it can cause discomfort, it can have focusing problems and blurry visions and headaches, and that can affect you long term and short term.
I know that you said in our uh online school podcast, go watch it down below in Spotify. Um, you had to get blue light glasses because you were on the screen at school for such a long time. Now, let's say you just got off of online school, which is about 6 hours straight, and you want to play some video games with friends. Now, obviously, that might go over the 9 hour time for just one day.
Yeah, and that's where the problems happen, and it's just there's and that's why the more you need to have lots of breaks and you need to equalize video games and like physical activity and like maybe after school you don't jump right on, you do something else and like go for a run, go to the park with someone and do something else like that. Then you can come back and maybe play a little bit later to give yourself a rest. And because we're online, maybe don't be staring at the screen as much as you need to. Maybe if someone's just talking, maybe you can just hook it up to some headphones and you can walk around. It and there's a lot of different solutions that you can have to help yourself. And maybe one of those solutions is cutting back and having less time on weekdays and maybe more time on weekends when you're off the technology.
But then I know some people that have screen-free Sundays. And now people might get, let's say you just finished school, it's now 3:30, and you want to hop on with your friends because they're all playing, but you can't because you have to go because you want to go on with your friends, but your mom says you have to go play outside. And then when you finally make it to the weekend, your friends can't play because maybe they're doing something outside. How would that affect somebody?
I've been there too, and it's just you feel so left out. So then when you do have those times to play with them, you want to play even more. And it's hard, but in the back of your mind, you know that it's good for you to have a day without that technology because then you can have more technology on another day. And it just that that Sunday is it's good for a lot of things, especially when we're sitting in front of a screen every day. But it also can affect you because it's just you feel so left out, and it can affect your mental health as well.
Yeah, I know I actually have screen-free Sundays. Funny we talk about it, and I think you do too, Bucket.
Yeah, occasionally.
And instead of playing video games, my family, we actually play board games. Now, how, if you've been in, correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, but have you ever been in a situation where you want to play with your friends online and not with your family?
Yes, it happens, and now looking back on those times, I feel like it was a good thing for me and that it helped me a lot. And I think it was a good idea, and I think a lot more people should do it. But I think the more people that do it, like let's say if your other friend is also having no screen time on a certain day, maybe if you guys have it on the same day, then you can arrange plans to have together so that you guys can play on that day, like in real life.
Yeah. Now there are there is the situation that you have a best friend and they never have a screen-free day, and you want to play with them, and you're always left out. That can really that really hurts. Like, I've been in that situation, and it can really affect your mental health, if I'm correct. Now, we have another topic. Are games trying to steal our money?
Um, yeah, like pretty much all games. Like you got like Fortnite, you got Roblox. There's so many pay to win and pay to play games, and they suck you in with these, they say, deals, and it's they at first you're like, oh, it doesn't matter about this, I don't need to play with this. But when other people get it, you're just sitting there and you want to have one too because you need something else to do.
Yeah, it really depends on what game you're playing. I know some mobile games suck you in a lot more than games on consoles. Now, have you ever, like, I'd never spend money on a mobile game. Some people might be angry at me for that, but um, I've never really found mobile games so interesting.
There obviously is a couple exceptions for mobile games, but yeah, I agree with you because I know for a fact that I'm not gonna go back to those mobile games, and I'm just gonna waste my money on that, and then I'm never gonna come back to it. It's kind of a waste. But there's some other exceptions like Roblox and like Bedrock, and you know that you're probably going to come back to those things, so that's why you sometimes purchase something.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like games, I'm just gonna throw them out there. Fortnite, Halo, Minecraft, depends what Minecraft you're playing. Um, Plenty other games. Those are console games, and I feel because you can get a special kind of USB and plug it into your Xbox to transfer all your files, and then you can plug it into a newer version of it. So you're not really wasting your money on things. Now we're going to move to another topic, parental control.
Yeah, I they I like the idea of parental control, but I wish it was more free. You were more free with it, and it wasn't so strict on you, and it just shuts everything down. Because when, let's say, it's like, oh, you have like 5 minutes left, it's like, oh well, I'll finish this game and sure, I'll get off after this. That's completely fine with me. But then you need to request this whole time thing, and you end up having to get kicked out of the game you're playing, and it can also get annoying when, let's say, you're going to a friend's house or something and you're allowed to play some more, and then you run out of time. You got to go down and you got to ask for more, and it happens a lot. And it's just, I feel if it was more free and maybe said, hey, you got 5 minutes left, finish this, like if it could sense, yeah, that you're in a game and shut you off after the game, I think that technology would be amazing. But right now, it doesn't know what you're in the middle of, and it'll just kick you off. And I think it gets annoying sometimes.
Yeah, now I don't have exactly what you have on my console. Um s- I have a rating of I can't go over a certain age limit, and if I want to go over, I have to get someone to sign in their account that's older than me. Now, that can get really annoying sometimes because let's just say you're over with a friend and you want to download this new game, and you're alone and you want to download this new game, and oh no, it's rated a lot older than you thought it was, and you can't play it because someone that's older than you or your parents are not in the house.
Yeah, like this whole parental control, like it's a great idea, but I feel like it needs to be a bit more loose, and there needs to be other ways for you to go past it, and without abusing it.
Now, in conclusion, do you think parental control is a good idea or a bad idea?
I think it's a good idea if it was more advanced.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that my cousin codes video games, and I know you can't just type in a code to let me have one more game after. But that would take a long time to develop. So I think in the future, I hope we can see more of an expansion to the parental control.
Yeah, and now, it looks like that's all the time we have today. Sorry to cut you off. I hope everyone has a great day. Make sure to check out all our other podcasts, and pass it to you.
This is a huge topic. We haven't even scratched the surface of video games, so we will definitely be back. I want to say have a great day, listeners, and I hope we can see you again.
Potato is tomato.